For the past 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, Nigeria has been having challenges that are beckoning and waiting for answers and solutions. That is why we are bringing to you our program, State of the Nation. And this is going to come up on our flagship program this morning on ITV. I am hereby inviting you to join me, Bola Bakare, your host, on State of the Nation, so that we can hasten the motions that brings national development. It's going to be a regular basis on Tuesdays. Make it a date with me. I'll be there waiting for you, and then we shall discuss Nigeria on an holistic level.
Welcome back to your lofty program, State of the Nation, where we hasten the motions for national development. And when it comes to national development, you're part of it. We want you to be part of the development because that is what makes Nigeria. It is not the trees, the forest, and the land that makes up Nigeria. It is you and I. And it is what we do that makes up Nigeria, that makes up our development, that gives us our government. Little wonder this morning we are going to dwell on a factor that is important. The factor that brings in, that ushers in the government that we want, by virtue of the fact that we have that franchise of one man, one vote, for which we as the electorate, we can go out there and say, this is my man, this is the person I want to vote for. It doesn't matter if your person doesn't win. The fact is, you have a right to have a candidate. You have a right to vote for your candidate. And it all boils down to the factor of politics is a game of numbers. We have 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 of them, and then you vote for your own man, and then you pray that, may my man win. But the essence is, at the end of the day, it is the numbers that matters. There has to be a winner, and there has to be losers. But all we're praying for is a situation where the winner does not feel is too much for one man, but not enough for two. This morning, we shall dwell on you, the electorate. You are a determinant. We are on the threshold of 2023 when we're going to usher in a different government. This is the time that you have a say. How much awareness do you have? How much information do you have at your fingertips? What are the guidelines that are going to make you vote and vote right? Little wonder this morning we're going to look at voter awareness for 2023. And with me in the studio is none other than my brother, Cosmas Izodima. You're welcome to the program.
Thank you very much, Bola.
And thank you on a regular basis. He is a media public relations practitioner. So he knows the feel of some of the ways you think. And some of the opinions he's going to give to us this morning are going to be like guidelines for us that, am I missing it? Am I on the right track? Little wonder ITV brings you astute gentlemen like this so that the element of education can come into it. We are not trying to force feed you. All we're trying to do is be able to guide your thought pattern into forming an opinion that is totally yours. I repeat that. The opinion you form is totally yours. But the idea is this: make sure you assimilate enough information to guide that opinion. And honestly, that is what my brother Cosmas Uzodinma is going to do to us this morning. I would like to say welcome again.
Thanks a lot.
Like I said in my opening, we are on the threshold of 2023. And like I said also, the electorate is the determinant. We're talking in terms of awareness, and you as a professional, how do you see the level of awareness that the Nigerian electorate has? Is it good to go? Is it below par? Is it above par?
Well, thank you, and good morning, viewers. It's once again my pleasure to be with you as we dissect the issues that border on our national development.
Thank you.
I think we're good to go. I have not seen such high level of awareness, voter awareness, that as regards the way this current election has generated such very huge interest.
Okay.
I think we're good to go.
Okay. You said one thing, that the preparation for these oncoming elections have generated a lot of interest. What do you think is the cause for that? Is it because we have multiple candidates, which we've always been having?
Yeah.
Or is there something new in the package that is creating that interest?
Yeah, I think what is new, there are two things that are new. First, Nigeria has always been in the past almost like a two-party state. You know, where we call it two-party dominant state.
The two majors and the others.
Yes, the two majors and the others. But there seems to have arisen a third force.
All right.
And that third force has brought so much into the mix that has brought, Nigerians are now able to have a breather outside the box of the two major parties that have always bestrode the Nigerian political environment like titans. Today there is some other factor inside. Yeah, there have been other parties also, like Accord Party and others. But I think these three, for the first time, we have three major players in as gladiators in the political scene. And secondly, the recent past elections, like the one in Ekiti, where an incumbent governor, Osun, where an incumbent governor, was sent packing, is also, well, even though the case is in court now, but we can say so far, going by the result.
What are you saying? At least he
has a certificate of return. And that automatically has gingered the people to think, well, it looks like INEC is off to a good start.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. What you've told us now is that the awareness is on a huge stage.
Yes.
It's really big now.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing you made mention of is the fact that we've been used to two majors and the others.
Yes.
Now it has become three majors,
and the others.
and the
others, yes.
And then, but the thing is, because I've been around for a long while, and then the kind of followership these three majors and the others have is higher than normal.
Yes.
What do you think is the drive for that awareness? Is it INEC that is impressive enough? Is it the people? Is it the political parties? Or is it the personalities themselves?
I think it's not just one factor.
Okay.
But I can give it to the personalities.
Okay.
First and foremost, there are people who have been there and have had, long-term following. Okay. You can go into Alhaji Atiku. He's been there since the day we dropped, the whistle for this republic was blown.
Okay.
And he has gathered so much, support base. The same thing.
Followership.
He has his own followership. The same thing also goes with Ahmed Tinubu. Okay. He also has had, in fact, he is like the godfather of the Southwest. And he has had so much followership. And then suddenly, the East and the youth that have seemed to be reticent over the time, because it's like at the point they have been thinking, well, it's like we're not part of these calculations.
We don't count.
And suddenly, they have a candidate that has a national appeal. And I think that could be responsible for the huge interest that the current situation is generating in the East. But interestingly, again, given the youthful nature of Obi, at 61, then a lot of youths are like gravitating around him, thinking that now we have somebody who is,
That is
representing
closer to
closer to us in age. I think these are the basic elements that are driving the current wave and rave in the ongoing electioneering campaigns.
At the same time, I want you to touch on, you've touched on the personalities, which is a factor to reckon with. Touch on the level of awareness that is being churned out by INEC and the political parties.
Well,
are they doing enough, or they are not doing anything?
I would say that the political parties have not even started. I think there have been certain elements that have come into it that are, self-driving publicity is what is going on. Because if you watch it, a number of them
has not given them to go ahead and start campaigning.
There's a self-driving publicity. Especially, we must give credit to social media system. Even though other parties, some people think that, well, there is a party that is essentially social media driven. But then you notice the social media drive is almost the same thing all over the place. Right. Both the PDP candidates have their own social media presence. The APC candidate has a huge social media presence. And also all of them, they all have their own social media presence. And the ongoing debate on it has been so hot that even though the parties, and again, the contestants are doing some subtle moves. Some what they are now calling, instead of calling it campaigns, they say it's consultations.
That's right. They call it all forms of names.
So they won't say, so they won't breach the INEC laws.
That's right.
And those consultations, as long as you are going there, and
you're meeting people, you're selling yourself.
Yes, it goes to what I used to say. They are meeting the connectors, they are meeting the salesmen, the kind of people they are visiting. They're not visiting small fries. Right. An ordinary visit you do to Wike is enough to generate huge attention.
What are the reasons behind that? Behind that visit?
And a visit you give to the gentleman in Ekiti who had oppression, the former governor, Ayo Fayose. He's a man that generates huge interest.
It connotes a lot of other
things. A lot of things. Everybody's attention moves to that area. So these are subtle ways, the political parties are doing to generate, publicity and interest.
Kind of
and when all these things come into the mix, they send forth a tsunami of interest.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, while we're still talking about political parties before we move on to INEC,
yes.
Do you think the political parties have the ideology that translates into a manifesto that can drive another class of people? When it comes to a nation, we are different classes.
Yes.
The literate, the semi-literate, and the illiterate. The ones that believe in ideology, that if you don't sell me an ideology, I am not coming out to vote. We have a lot of people in that class.
Yeah.
So with the political parties, are they creating enough awareness vis-a-vis ideologically?
Unfortunately, this is an area that is very, very lacking because our political parties more or less dwell so much on primordial sentiments. You could see the debate on religion, the certain people saying that an Igbo man cannot rule. Some other people saying that it is our turn, turn by turn kind of thing. All these things that people are saying, it boils down to one thing: primordial sentiments. But you could even imagine what's happening just across the pond in UK. Imagine the candidates that are jostling to take over from Boris Johnson. You could imagine the two, Rishi Sunak and the other lady. You could see how even within the same party, you could see their ideologies.
That's it.
Why one
That's
is
what
saying?
I'm talking about.
Why one is saying, look, I'm going to increase tax. The other one said, no, we're not going to increase tax. Now they're saying, look, Britain, like the British Central Bank is saying, we are headed to recession. Now their question, how are you going to pull
revenue,
us out of this recession? And a number of things, welfare, to how much welfare is enough? And look at Brexit. So they're issue-driven.
That's right.
Even within the same
Party.
Conservative Party. How much more, when it is between the Labour Party and the Conservative Party? You see, the Labour Party is more welfare-driven and increase in taxes, while the Labour Party says, the Conservative Party says no. Reduce taxes so that you can promote investment and so on and so forth. But in Nigeria, it's very terribly, it's not so.
Is it,
but it's all the same party.
Low or is it non-existent? Because we need to touch on this.
Yeah,
because there's a difference between, there's a difference between followership based on ethno-religious basis, which is that they don't care.
Yes.
And then I'm trying to preach a followership that is based on ideology.
Yes.
Do they have it?
It is, I will score 0. There could be, some signs of, there is a difference, there's an ideology and there are issues. That a party is issue-driven, has issues it wants to settle, does not mean ideology. Because ideology has more to do. When we're talking about ideology, we're talking about, are you capitalist?
Yes.
Are you welfare-driven? Or are you, what we call the extreme right? Are you in the extreme left? Are you in the center left? Or are you in the center right? These are what we call ideologies. But there's nothing like that in Nigeria.
Do you think we can get... We will get
it was only during Awolowo that we had a similitude of that. Because Awolowo was more socialist. He was the one that had ideology. And his own stand, therefore, gave other parties that, the coloration of being more capitalist. But after that, I think after Awolowo, the Nigerian political scene has been totally bereft of ideologies.
Let's think positive, because I believe life is work in progress.
Yes.
You've been around for a long while, too. You've been around through all what Nigeria was.
So 1960.
What Nigeria was, you've been through it.
Yeah.
So do you foresee a case where ideology, like you said in the case of the Times of Our, where ideology that culminates into a manifesto, do you foresee that in the nearest future based on what we are looking at presently?
From the seeds, from what were the foundation we're seeing now, I don't think ideologies will begin to come the day we begin to throw away the garb of ethno-religious sentiments.
That's true.
But insofar as we're concerned now, when ethno-religious sentiments are responsible for about over 90% of our voter behavior, I think we still have a long way to go. We're not. None of the parties is talking about we're going to be more socialist in crime. None of them is talking about how to. Are we going to taxes?
Selling ideas to the people.
No. Only very few, only maybe somebody that's saying, well, we want to move Nigeria from a production or a consumption oriented to production oriented.
It's not that easy.
It's not easy, and it's not so much of an ideology. It's a program.
It's a projection.
It's a program. It's not ideology. Yes.
That's right. That's right.
Yes.
Now that we've touched on political parties, let's now talk about the midwife, INEC. How much of awareness is INEC churning out for the people? Because as a midwife, INEC will have to churn out information for the political parties, information for the contestants, information for the electorate.
Yeah.
How much of this is INEC churning out to these 3 tiers of election?
Yeah, we can say that except for a few knee-jerk reactions that we can see Okoye, the commissioner in charge of information, coming to television to talk once in a while. I don't think INEC has...
Are you saying it should be more constant? It should come up more constant?
No, you see, we don't have billboards. Online, there are no online, the use of, social media to contact the people. Electronic media from INEC, where it's totally... what we call Deus abscondum. They are not.
Let's talk with them.
But they are there.
Do they have the money to do that? electronic media, whatever,
you know,
outdoor media, it costs
Yeah.
money. Do you think they have the money to do that, or they're just not doing it?
well, I'm not in their purse.
Of course,
But
yes.
it's good to say what I am looking at is INEC is not doing enough towards sensitizing the people. Like, for instance, we talk about the Electoral Act. People are simply, stumbling onto information. How many people know about the Electoral Act? It was during the Osun election that people started knowing
the
gist of what it takes to be, what do you call it?
Delegate or
the electronic transmission of
the beavers.
of the beavers and so on and so forth. But technically, you are in a nation that has a high level of illiteracy. There should be demonstrations on television. There should be using, in fact, by now they should have brought skits of information that will be circulating on the social media.
That's right.
In
all the different languages.
And it doesn't cost money. Let me tell you. A lot
Social
of people
media
think
doesn't cost that much money, really.
it doesn't cost money. If INEC can bring out 500,000 naira, ask somebody do a skit for us on voter behavior,
on the beavers.
on the beavers, and you do it once, and you feed it into your YouTube.
Your platform, or throw it into the media space, and
It begins to go around.
That's it.
Nothing has been done because the tendency. I've been a public relations manager for government and for private sector. A number of things people think cost money. It doesn't cost so much money. All these kids that are on
Social media.
TikTok.
TikTok, they're free.
How much do they have? So why must we always want something
That is
to
huge
smile
in cost.
so that we can smile to the bank? Why? Imagine the debates going on in UK. All you need is one debate, and then you circulate it. It's on your Facebook. It's on your social media.
All the platforms.
On all the platforms. All you need is one. Make it comprehensive like what you're doing now. But they don't seem to be prepared. They're still using the analog system of information dissemination. Once in a while, the INEC Commissioner for Information comes out and say, yes, we have closed registration. That's all. We say in the last 1 month, all I've heard is that we have closed registration. But do more.
Do more. The enlightened create more awareness for the people.
Yes.
Honestly, I quite understand what you've just said in terms of INEC. And I want our viewers back at home to key into this more. First and foremost, INEC, you need to educate us more. It is not every Nigerian that is on the level of my brother here, Cosmas Udodima, or my person, Bola Bakare, that can understand and read between the lines. There are a lot of Nigerians, even during the days of party primaries, when the numbers of delegates were huge and overnight they were reduced based on the Electoral Act. How much of this did you tell the people? The people were even thinking, oh, the political party shenanigans is what is going on so that they can they can spend less money.
Yes.
That's what, from our findings, that is what the average Nigerian is thinking, that the numbers were reduced so that less money will be spent on delegates. Not knowing that it was the Electoral Act that jettisoned some of them.
Exactly.
These are things, INEC, you need to tell us. That is what we call awareness, sensitization, and education. You need to do those things to us. That is your work as the midwife. We can call you all kinds of names. Midwife, referee, you can give a yellow card or a red card. You can tell somebody you are out of it. At the same time, if you are carrying that stick, make sure you educate us about what is going on. The level of awareness, like my brother Cosmas here said, the level of awareness is low, coming from INEC. But the thing is, I was in your support saying, do you think INEC has the money to go ahead for electronic media, outdoor advertising, and the rest of it? He said he doesn't know. But what he knows as a practitioner, a public relations practitioner, is the social media is close to being free. And it's all rampant. So why aren't you using it? Honestly, like I told you earlier, we're going to learn a lot from my brother here, customers. At the same time, we are not force-feeding you. What we are doing is we are laying it across so that you can form an opinion that is going to drive you forward. Let me get back to you, customers. We've been able to talk about all the players in this thing. Let us think in terms of numbers. INEC threw it at us that they have close to about 96 million registered voters.
Yes.
Let's play with numbers a little bit. Let's go back to those 4 off-season elections and come back to the last one, which was Osun.
Yes.
If you check the numbers of the registered voters in Osun and the voters themselves, this is the first time we're having a very high percentage.
Yes.
What do you think gave room to that? 1. And 2, how can we translate that to this 96 million registered voters and then project an expectation of those that are going to vote in the next general elections?
Well, yeah. If you look at that, you know, the Osun election benefited from the national rave, and a lot of interests, it generated a lot of interest. And we thank God for the high voter turnout in the Osun election. And like what we are saying, is we should expect that that at the general elections, especially against the fact that the very apathetic bloc demography, the youth, they seem to have
woken up. Huh?
Woken up. And, about 80% of the new registrations were people between the ages of 18 and 34. And the remaining 2.4% were people between the ages of 34 and 50. And
that's quite a huge percentage.
Yes, that is telling you that that we are up for something, new in the forthcoming election. And these kids, and you can see a number of them are marching around here and there. It has never happened before. That before an election that people on their own, without being prompted by their candidates, doing some
on the streets.
They're already on the streets. So as each moment you do these marches, and every action that is taken now in this era of global village, it is seen across the world.
Of course.
And as that keeps happening, the compound effect, the compound effect begins to well across Nigeria and across the world. And it's going to, gravitate into a very huge turnout in the forthcoming elections. Yes.
We can't talk about awareness
without
talking in terms of voter apathy.
Yes.
Are you seeing anything that will warrant voter apathy in the threshold to 2023?
Well, this is a kind of a very interesting time because I'm not going to say that there will always be apathy, but it's in percentage. But there will be more enthusiasm than you have apathy. There were times when apathy overwhelmed the enthusiasm.
The enthusiasm.
That you didn't say nobody even came out, and maybe sometime 20% of voters. But this time around, we're going to be having more than 60%. Like in the Osun experience, we have about 56% of voter turnout. And I believe that, but where there are what we may classify as the apathy, there's going to be something in the mix. Like somebody showed something on Facebook a few days ago. Some of the, cards, registration voter, permanent voters cards, PVCs, where we don't know how they emerged somewhere. Some of them were thrown away, A lot of these things are going to be people who are going to have problems on that day. Some people, they won't see their names. Some people may not see their cards. They don't know where they have kept it, but because of the rush, many people did not even go to verify whether
the PVC they have
whether the PVCs are still relevant and whether their names are still on the register. This is where the problems are going to arise, much more than apathy itself. There will be interest, huge interest in the election, but there will be a huge number of problem candidates.
Because they've been disenfranchised.
Yeah, and those people have been disenfranchised.
Let's bring in that factor of, now that we're talking about PVCs, there are millions of PVCs hanging all over Nigeria.
Yeah.
How do you factor that into us as a people and into apathy? Because a man that refuses to go and pick up his PVC is apathetical.
Yes.
He doesn't want to vote.
Yeah.
Let us look at it. That why is it that we have a large number of PVCs lying fallow? Not forgetting the fact of what you said now, that there are loads of people queuing everywhere all over the country that are saying we can't register afresh. Those that just became 18, we can't register afresh, we can't verify our PVC. The INEC officials are doing this to us or doing that to us. Against the backdrop of there are millions of PVC on ground that people are not picking up.
Yeah, it goes to point to the fact that INEC has a very weak digital infrastructure. Why am I saying this? I remember when I was in Aegis, when it is time for people to pay their land premiums, we sent text messages to them.
As a reminder.
As a reminder, we have your PVCs. You understand? INEC could generate this thing and say, okay, these are the ones that are there. We have your PVCs, please come and collect them.
Even the telcos can do that for them,
yes,
for them at a discount.
And it boils down to what the Obasanjo administration tried, what all the best it could to make sure it introduced Savicom.
Yes.
Service compact with Nigerians. But it's still unfortunate that many government agencies still have not woken up to their responsibility. And one such is INEC. What stops INEC? You see, you go for visas in U.S. embassies and other places. Once it's ready, you are called, you are told. You are even given a number to monitor.
That's right.
These things are no longer rocket science. But what happens is that in our agencies still want to dwell on the analog format of service delivery. And because it covers a lot of things. Within the chaos, chaos is an industry. Many people benefit from the chaos there. Because why wouldn't INEC improve its customer service? It's that the citizen is your customer. And
you're using our funds as taxes to operate.
Yes, and the PVCs are responsibilities you owe us. Even if twice your PVC is still with us, come and collect it. One liner. Go to your nearest office. These millions we're talking about, by the time you share these millions to the 774 local governments, it comes down. It may come down to 100,000 each local government. A local government can handle that. So look at it. Then you again distribute it according to wards. In a local government, if a local government has
what's an average of
10 wards, if a local government has 100,000 PVCs, they can share it into 10 wards. It comes down to how much?
10,000 each, and then you can go to the zones that are
you
about
can go
20.
to zones and say, you call the chiefs of the area, or you call the people, then somebody will not pick up a phone. The whole year, you just put it into a data bank, and then in a single bulk SMS, your PVC is with me, is with us, come and collect it. But this issue of unitary command structure, if you give INEC chance, they may even ask you to come to their headquarters in Abuja to come and collect your PVCs. Why not, when we
get
talk about
as close to the people as the PUs, as the polling
yes,
units.
devolution. Find a way to devolve this thing down to the grassroots. rather than sit down and become a royal father at the federal government, at the federal level, and expect everybody to come and bow to you. That is wrong.
A little wonder there are instances where people say that we've been there to collect, we line up for a whole
Yes.
day and nothing happens.
Many
And
people
apathy now sets in.
Yes.
They say, I am no longer going there.
Yes.
They can afford to keep it.
People line up and wait and wait and wait from... I saw people come in FCT. Why would people leave their local governments and everything and come to the FCT headquarters of INEC to register? Why? It's still so.
No, it shouldn't be so. It
Shouldn't be so.
Then let me bring in a curve into it, because during the course of our research and then information gathering, some people were saying, some school of thought were saying, if we are treated the PVC the same way we treat our debit cards, you know your debit card,
Yes.
you pay for it.
Yes.
You pay 1,000 naira for that debit card because it costs money to buy that plastic, to print whatever you're going to print, the information on it.
Yes.
That why don't we tie it up? Not in all cases though, because it's not every Nigerian that has an account to the bank or this or is into anything. But NIN is a situation most Nigerians should have. That we should tie a little bit of those things to the banks and bring in the factor of money. I negated the factor of money because I said you're giving it to them for free and they are not coming to pick it. If you make it, if you monetize it, they will run away. No, the person said, look, if you monetize it and attach it to their bankers, telling them outright that it costs us money to get you this, because we are giving it to you, come and pick it up because we get the money from you via your bank. The last word the man said was, anything that is for free, there is no respect in that. If you're paying for anything, you tend to respect it. Do you think on an even platform, do you think we should be thinking along these lines?
I would say absolutely not.
Not.
Absolutely not. But if you could think about the only caveat is if you miss your card, then a charge
A
could
reissue
go.
will-
A reissue may cost you some money.
They won't come again.
Well,
party sets it.
you know, we may look at the issue of so that you don't go and pick your card and throw it away. You pick it, and pay. Well, apathy may set in, but people will be more careful.
Of course.
People will be more careful. It's a balance, you know. There must be, if you do that, take your card so that when you pick up your card, you're careful to keep it. So you don't say because it is free, you throw it away. But in the beginning, is government entitlement to you is that card, one card. And when you miss it, I think maybe 1,000 naira you come for a new card. That's fine.
Let me go ahead.
I think so, but the danger there is that politicians may now choose to start paying for
those cards.
for those cards, using
Inducement.
an inducement. So the best thing is make it free as possible.
Let us put another factor into it.
Yes.
Why is there no this element of consequences?
Yeah.
We're about saying the same thing, but we are rephrasing it.
Yeah.
Why is there no consequences when you do not pick what we have spent our money on?
Well, I can find a way to it. A way around it is look at need. Even BVN. Do you know that when the BVN started, there was this card. It was a card they were issuing to you. I still have my own card. But if you ask me now what my BVN, I pull out my card. But what has happened? Now, you simply go to MTN, click your number, and your BVN comes anywhere you are. Why is it so? Why is it that private sector is making progress? It's only government that sits down and is whining and is complaining. Must we still be carrying brick and mortar cards about? Let everybody have their number. If you have the BVN number, and once you have it, and anywhere you go, you punch. You have come to vote, whether you have your number on, whether you have that card or not. All you do is you punch your number, your information comes up. You have your
biometrics.
You vote. You see, eliminate, that's just the way the world has gone to cashless society. Elections should go into cardless elections. So why must we?
Are getting there.
Why must we sit down and ask for consequences? You see, you know what is everybody. Money originally, people were carrying bags of money left, right, and center. That was how bank came, and the banking system has been improving. Like people can carry money. People going on pilgrimages could carry money. All the rest of them. Now suddenly, you've reduced money to your card. You can put in your money in the bank in Nigeria. You go to Saudi Arabia, you withdraw it. You don't even need to have your card in Saudi Arabia. Once you have your number, you could do transaction there. Why have we attained such high sophistication in private sector business process, while the government public sector business process is lagging? So please, INEC, get up and think. There are ways we can vote. I've been in the United States. I went on I became a beneficiary of the International Visitors Leadership Program organized by the United States. And incidentally, my area of study was state and local government. And they took me to a place where the INEC, they are like their own INEC's office. There's a box there. All you do is you walk in there, key in your number, and you vote and walk away.
That's right.
You balance this. You balance the new technology with the analog technology.
You balance. You improve on a daily basis.
You improve on a daily basis. Why must we even on election day? Why must we? Because immediately you voted, you are locked out.
You can't come back again.
You can't come back again. Why are they delaying? The people doing this ICT, these innovations, a lot of them are Africans.
Of course, yes.
There's a Nigerian boy whose software was bought by Google, 1 billion.
Yeah, there are a lot of them in the fintech industry. Some of our boys are good, and then they've been bought over. We
delay these things because we want the revenue that comes from mediocrity. It bothers me.
Of course, you because you are broad-minded enough to say this is not good enough.
Yes,
and thank God for one thing
we should start talking about how to punish the people, how to flog them, how to put in consequences. What you do is live where you are and meet the people where they are.
That's right.
Simple.
That's right. And to you, our viewers, I told you ab initio that we're going to learn a few things, and then we have learned them as we speak. The idea is we are all in this together. You and I, the electorate, we are in it together. The political parties, we are in it together. INEC, we are in it together. But I will tell you this. The most important person in our political system, it's you and I, the electorate, because we are the determinants. It's high time we forget the element of saying, oh, my vote wouldn't count. We are beginning to improve. Because life in itself is work in progress. And we've seen this from the 4 off-season elections. That the last one that happened was in Osun State, and then there was a great improvement, which Nigerians were saying is good to go. Another factor when it comes to political parties is, over time, we've always been having the 2 majors and the others. But now, we are beginning to have maybe 3 majors and the others. That is because the electorate, you are becoming part of the franchise. We need to improve on this. We need to improve on ourselves. We need to be aware of what is happening. And the final word goes to INEC, who is the midwife, the referee, or whatever name we want to give to them. INEC, from what you can hear from what my brother said, you're doing a very fantastic job, because we can see them from the last 4 elections that there's an improvement. But at the same time, you can still do some more. The essence of our being here is not to say this is the right way to do it. It is an opinion that you can work with. We all can be in government offices, but we can be on air, saying it as is, like my brother has said, and he has been able to give us insights. The one that we want government to pick on was the one he told us about INEC. There are ways and means of doing things. He's saying this from the angle of a retired public servant and now a private citizen. So he knows both sides of the coin. And my last word here is, I would like to tell him, thank you for honoring our invite.
I appreciate you all. Thank you, our very esteemed viewers. God bless you all.
On that note, I would like to say, don't go away. Our program continues shortly. Stay with us.